Welcome to Maths for All. I'm Aisling Flynn. This is exam practice. And in this video we're doing a 25 mark question from ordinary level maths, leaving cert from paper 2, and it's on the topic of the line. So part A, the line L contains the points 4, 5, which is A, and B, 2, 0. Find the equation of L. Give your answer in the form of ax plus by plus c equals 0, where a, b, c are integers. Okay, so the question is asking us, giving us 2 points, find the equation of L. So find the equation, or the equation of a line. So we'll refer to our formula and tables books. So you must first go to the coordinate geometry page of the line. It is page 18, and we're not looking for slope yet, or perhaps we are in a moment, right? We're not looking for length, we're not looking for midpoint, we're looking for equation of a line PQ. Okay, and it is this top one here that will allow us to insert information to calculate or to generate the equation of the line. Okay, so let's look at it here. We have y and x and y. We have an x1 and y1. x1 and y1 refer to a point on the line, and we were provided with 2 of those, so we're good to use that. The letter M here is slope. So we weren't told the slope of our line, so we will have to calculate it. So we will need slope also. So we'll need to make use of this formula here, which is rise over run, or if you're using the formula, you need 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2, which were supplied to us in the question. Okay, so we have this information going forward. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is write down those 2 formulas, transcribe them onto your answer page, and slope was y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We haven't drawn the line yet, so that's the reason I'm not using rise over run, but you can do that, no problems. Same thing. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is calculate the slope. So we have 2 points A and B. We'll call them x1, y1 and x2, y2. And we're going to substitute those values into the slope formula. So y2 is 0, take away y1 is 5, over x2 is 2, take away 4, which was x1. Okay, so what do we get as a result? On the top line I get minus 5, and on the bottom line I get minus 2. Now that's a negative divided by a negative, so the overall answer is positive. So I'm going to leave it in fraction form, 5 over 2, which is 2.5, and we'll use that in getting our equation. So that's slope done, and now we're going to calculate the equation. You can use whichever point you like, A or B, with this formula. Okay, most people probably just go for the first one, so let's do that. Y minus y1 is 5 equals to the slope 5 over 2, and deliberately write it on 2 separate levels, multiplied by x minus x1, which is x minus 4. Okay, now that is 100% correct. It is an equation, it does describe a line, but it's not in the form that we were asked for in the question. So firstly we're going to work and so that we're not showing any fractions, and then we'll rearrange them and give them as was asked. Okay, so we have a divided by 2 on the right, so I'm going to start by multiplying both sides by 2. Okay, remember it's an equation, so you can do what you like as long as you do the same to the left and the right. And the reason we did it was because 2 divided by 2 is 1, and essentially we don't see it anymore. So multiplying out the brackets, 2 times y is 2y, minus 2 5s is 10. And then we have 5 times this bracket on the right, 5x minus 20. Okay, so now we have no fractions. To write it in the form that was asked, they want us to have the x part first, the y part second. So x is first, y is second, constants or numbers third, equal to 0. Okay, and because we have plus 5x on the right, I'm going to start off by moving everything to the right to be with it. Okay, so let's take away things from the left. So we're going to take 2y from both sides, and we're going to add 10 to both sides. So now we're left with nothing on the left hand side. Okay, and on the right hand side we have a 5x, we have a minus 2y, we have a minus 20, and we have a plus 10. Okay, we're nearly there, we just need to tidy up. So on the right we have 5x minus 2y, then we have minus 20 plus 10, which overall makes minus 10, and all of that is equal to 0. Okay, remember that left equals right is the same as right equals left. So this is my final answer for the equation of that line. Let's have a look at the marking scheme for that. Okay, so there was 15 lovely points going for that. Stage 1 was to calculate our slope like so. Stage 2 was to substitute correctly into our formula for the equation of a line, and then there was developing it out and presenting it as was requested. Okay, so as always, or as often, there's opportunity to gain partial credit. So to get 2 out of 15, you have to write down a correct formula. Okay, if that's all you did, you get 2 out of 15. To get 4 out of 15, if you wrote down the slope formula with some substitution, or wrote down the equation of a line with some substitution, or if you just calculated the slope and stopped and did nothing else, you get 4 out of 15. A high partial credit, which is 8 out of 15, if you wrote out the equation of the line formula and fully substituted it. Okay, so if you got to this stage here, you'd be getting 8 out of 15. Okay. Now part B asks us to draw the line x plus 2y equals 8 on the axis below. Okay, and they call it line K. Alright, so we can gain some information from the equation of a line, but it's not really represented as we would like. It's not written as y equals mx plus c, so it's not like that. We could rearrange it to look like that. Let me show you that. We get 2y equals minus x plus 8, so that's taking x from both sides, and then you'd have y equals minus x over 2, so dividing everything by 2 plus 4. Now this is useful. We learned that the slope is whatever's beside the x, where we could write that as minus a half x plus 4. So I can tell straight away from this that the slope is equal to minus a half. Okay, if we're doing y equals mx plus c format, and that c is equal to plus 4. Now, I'm not going to use that just now, but we'll come back and refer to it. So that's one way to do things. Alright, the second way is to find 2 points in a line. After all, you only need 2 points to be able to draw a line. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to find out where does the line cut the x-axis. So everywhere along the x-axis, it's right on the horizontal line here. The points are not up, they're not down. Every point on the x-axis has a y value equal to 0. So that's what we're going to do first. We're going to put the number 0 in instead of the y value. And we'll get x plus 0 equals 8. We'll get x equals 8. So the point x is 8, comma 0, y is 0, is on our line. Okay, and then we'll do something similar for the y-axis. The y-axis is the vertical axis. All the points along this axis, they are not right, they are not left, so all the points on that axis have x value 0. Okay, so we'll use our line k again. Instead of x, we'll write 0 plus 2y equals to 8. So 2y equals 8. Dividing both sides by 2 to solve for y, we get y equals 4. Okay, so the point that has x value 0 and y value 4 is on our line k. So we're going to use these 2 points. 8, 0 is here on the x-axis. Okay, and 0, 4 is on the y-axis as part of our line. And then I want you to take a ruler. Now you guys will, I don't have a ruler here, you guys will draw this really nice and straight using your ruler. And this is our line K. Okay, and label it as well on your graph. That's K. Alright, now I just want to draw your attention back to here. Alright, how you can use this format. So we've rearranged the equation for K to look like y equals mx plus c, and comparing, we see we have slope of -2 and an intercept of 4. So here is where we find the intercept of 4. And we have a negative slope, meaning it's going down, of 1/2. That means for every step across you go, so every step 1 unit across, the line goes down 1/2. Okay, 1/2, and so on. So you can do that and follow that trend of you're dropping by 1/2 the whole way along, and you get the same line. So it's 2 methods of doing the same thing. I hope that's not confusing. You can pause there and maybe draw the graph yourself and explore that a little bit. Okay, let's look at our marking scheme for that bit. We can see that we've got it right. Okay, here were our 2 points that we found. Okay, there are 5 marks going for it. If you wrote down simply x equals 0, y equals 0, you get 1 out of 5. Or any work of merit working with the line k. So if you try to rearrange it to make y equals mx plus c, you might get 1 out of 5. And if you found the 2 points, but you didn't plot it or put it on the graph, you would get 2 out of 5. So part C of this question says use a graphic, numeric or algebraic method to find the coordinates of L intersection K. So L of course was the line from part A, K is the line from part B, and this symbol here you need to have recognized it as meaning intersection. And intersection means when do these lines cross over. So if that's line L and that's line K, what's this point here? It's called a point of intersection, and it will have an x and a y coordinate. Okay, now given that you've just drawn a graph of K, perhaps graphic might be the most straightforward way of answering this question. We'll go with that. But in the marking scheme, I'll show you what's involved for the numeric and the algebraic method. Okay. So, of course, you'll have all this done already on the same page. We just did line K. We found across the y-axis here and the x-axis here, and using a nice straight ruler, you will have drawn a nice straight line. Okay, I'll do my best. So there are some reasons why graphic is not the best method, and my line drawing here is one of them, but we were given a choice. Okay, so that's line K. Now line L, if you recall from part A, we found out that it had the equation 5x minus 2y minus 10 equals 0. We can find x and y coordinates for where it crosses the axis, or we can use the fact that we were given points A and B in the first part of the question. So point A was 4, 5, which is here, that's A. and point B was 2, 0, which is here. And again, using a nice straight ruler, we can join those up. Okay, and here by graphic methods I can find where my two lines cross. So I'm going to say it's there, and it's called the point of intersection. And I'm going to say L intersects K at. Now give the x coordinate first, which is 3, and the y coordinate second, which is 2.5 or 2.5 or 5 over 2. Okay, so let's check, did we get it right, even with my graph drawing. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, there were 5 marks going for this. Alright, if you made an effort to draw line L, you get 1 out of 5. If you drew line L correctly and you marked a point of intersection, but if you didn't write it down, you get 2 out of 5. So for 5 out of 5, you make sure you specifically state your answer. Okay. Now that was the graphic method. It was quite quick. Alright, but you had choice. You could go to numerical method. Okay, so what this involves, it involves putting numbers into each equation. So this was line L. Alright, and they chose an input of 5 or of 3, x equals 3, and they get a y value of 2.5. Right, and then they took line K, this was line K, and they did the same. They put x equals 3 and they got the same answer. So for both, when they used x equals 3, they got the same answer, was 2.5. Now how did they know to use x equals 3? How do you prove that, or how do you know in advance you're going to get the same value of y? Well, it's trial and error. Okay, so you might not be lucky to get it first time. So maybe numerical is not the easiest way. Okay, still you get the same marks for it. And the other recommended way would be algebraic, and this involves simultaneous equations. Okay, so how to find the point of intersection for two lines is to use simultaneous equations when you have their two equations. Okay, you're finding the one place where the x and the y values work simultaneously for both equations, for L and K. So this was K, this top line here, and this was line L, slightly rearranged so that the 10 was on the other side of the equals. Okay, and then when you put them together, combine them, plus 2y and minus 2y gives 0. X plus 5x gives 6x, and the numbers together give 18. So dividing both sides by 6, you get x equals 3. So that's right. And then to find your value of y, you take x equals 3 and you put it back into one of these equations, solve for y, and you get y equals 5 over 2, or 2.5. Okay, so different ways of looking at that question, but all equal marks.